Hello viewers, welcome to Certified Business Solutions, where we discuss business-related matters. I will be a host, Lucy Maina, and with me is Dr. Kamau. Today, we are going to talk about a business life cycle. Business, just as human beings, have a life cycle. There is the startup stage, the growth stage, maturity stage, and finally, there is decline or the rebirth stage. Dr. Kamau, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very fine.
Okay.
Please start us off
Yes.
by explaining to us what is a business life cycle.
Thank you very much. Business life cycle is the period between when the company is formed and the period that the company ends. Just as you have said, in terms of a human being,
Yes.
a period between birth and a period between death. Just like human beings again, even companies die. Something that has a start automatically has an end.
Yes.
So usually the company starts as a startup.
Yeah.
Then with the time it graduates to the growth stage.
Okay.
Then it further proceeds to a maturity stage.
Yes.
And finally to either decline or a rebirth stage.
Okay.
And that's what comprises
Yes.
a business life cycle.
Yes. Okay. So if we come to the startup stage, what are the opportunities does a business have?
What opportunities does a business have at the startup stage?
Yes.
First, we need to understand that opportunities are industry specific or economy specific. There is no opportunity that is specific to a certain business.
Yeah.
What is specific to a business
Yes.
is the strength or weakness of that business.
Okay.
Because, for instance, we can have an opportunity
Yes.
that after recession, because right now the economy is experiencing recession, we will have a boom.
Okay.
So at that time, people will have high purchasing power.
Yes.
There will be demands of goods and supply.
Okay.
So if you are, for instance, a shoe company,
Yes.
there will be opportunity for you to produce more shoes.
Yes.
Because people will have the ability to buy those shoes.
Yeah.
But no, that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's something that has been caused by the external environment.
Yes.
What is referred as the macro environment.
Okay.
So the company, what it needs for it to exploit that opportunity is to have strength.
Okay.
Now the strength of a company can be something like a strong financial muscle.
Okay.
That when the opportunity presents itself, the company will be able to purchase the raw materials, to buy the equipment that is required to do production of shoes.
Yes.
Maybe the company has a strength of having high quality employees. Or maybe a company has a strength by having a unique technology that is not available to other players in the market.
Okay.
So the question is, what strength does a startup has for it to be able to penetrate the market?
Okay.
Usually many startups, they have the founders of a startup. Probably they are people who have worked in other companies. So they have the expertise, they have the experience, and they have the exposure.
Okay.
For instance, when Equity Bank was starting, in 1984, it started as Equity Building Society.
Okay.
And it was started by 3 gentlemen.
Yes.
That is Peter Munga, there was John Mwangi, and there is James Mwangi.
Okay.
They didn't have much apart from having the knowledge of how financial institution works and having knowledge, experience and exposure. That was their strength. And the opportunity that had presented itself is that by that time, the financial institutions that were existing had somehow neglected the low-income earners.
Okay.
So they found an opportunity. But if they didn't have the strength of having that exposure, of having that good experience, of having that knowledge, they would not have been able to capitalize on that opportunity.
Okay. So, that's fine. My other question is, when the business is at its growth stage, what are its strengths?
The strength that a business has when it is in growth stage. We first need to understand that the growth stage is the second stage after in the company formation after the startup stage.
Yeah.
So you have asked what strength
yeah.
that company has.
Yeah.
Remember, this is a company that has already existed for 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
So it already has some market share.
Okay.
It has some existing customers.
Yes.
So whenever it does the production, it doesn't struggle to get buyers.
Yeah.
So probably what it's struggling to do
yes.
is to advertise and market
yeah.
so that it can expand its reach.
Yes.
Now, the strength that this company has is that it has a good reputation. The brand name and image is already known. So if the company chooses to attract funding from investors, then it has something to put on the table.
Okay.
It has financial statements to show.
Yes.
As opposed to when a company is at the startup stage, the only thing that it can show is projections.
Okay.
That we propose in the next 5 years, this is how our financial statement will look like.
Okay.
But now, at growth stage, there's something to show.
Okay.
Even at this stage, the company is able to attract high quality employees because people now can see
you are doing something.
You are doing something.
Yeah.
So those are the strengths that a company that is at growth stage is able to experience. Okay. Even something like economies of scale. Remember, when we were at startup stage, that is the stage that was high acquisition of assets. That's when the company was buying machines. That's when the company was setting up the offices. So the fixed costs were very high. And the production of units, if it is shoes, was very low. But what happens when the economies of scales come into play is that the cost of production per unit comes down.
Yeah.
For instance, if I can give a simpler example, assume this room we are is a classroom, and the rent for this room is 10,000.
Yeah.
So when we have one student, you'll still pay the rent 10,000.
That is true.
And assuming this room can fit 10 students.
Yes.
So when you have 10 students, you will still be paying
the same amount
of rent, which is 10,000.
Yes.
But now, cost of rent per unit, and in this case, students, when you have one student, the cost of rent per student is 10,000. But when you increase the production in terms of numbers, now it is 10,000 divided by 10 students. So the cost of rent per student comes to 1,000.
Okay. Yes.
Because it's 10,000 divided by 10. Comes to 1,000. So that's what we refer as economies of scale.
Okay.
Once you start increasing the production capacity, then the cost of production per unit comes down.
Okay.
And that's one of the strengths and advantages that a company that is at the growth stage experiences compared to the one that is
at the startup stage.
Exactly.
So in short, at growth stage, a company has already started to get at least enough profit?
Yes. Yes, exactly. The company has been, now the cash flows are positive.
Yes.
That the cash inflow is more than the cash outflow.
Okay.
That income is more than expenses.
Okay.
And the company has broken even.
Yes.
Breaking even is now when the revenue goes
supersedes
the cost of operation.
Okay. All right. Now we come to the third stage, which is the maturity stage.
Yes.
What are the weaknesses of such a stage?
The weaknesses of a maturity stage is that now the company has grown.
Yeah.
As you have said, now we are at the third stage.
Yeah.
What happens, now the company is more stable and more profitable. But human beings, the nature of human being is that once you succeed, you now tend to relax and build yourself a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And in terms of continue to be innovative, in terms of continue to be innovative and investing more on research and development so that you can come up with better products, better and more efficient methods of running operations. You now sit back and say, and relax, and relax.
As you enjoy your profit.
And as you enjoy your profits.
Yes.
And then at this stage is when now we are assuming you have attracted investors.
Yeah.
Because now the company probably has grown beyond the local area. You have a few branches here and there.
Yes.
It has become regional. For you to finance that kind of expansion, you attracted investors.
Yeah.
And now that's when you hear a company has gone public.
Okay.
Like Safaricom, when it went public, it sold shares to us.
Yes.
So if you have one share of Safaricom, you are an owner of Safaricom.
That is true.
But now what happens is when it is at that maturity stage, it experiences something called separation of ownership and management.
Okay.
That because it has grown and now the scale of production and operations is beyond the expertise of the founders. Now it hires. It has professionals to manage.
Okay.
Now that's when you hear CEO, like the late Bob Colimo or the current CEO, Peter Ndegwa.
Yeah.
So Peter Ndegwa is an employee of Safaricom. So if you own a share of Safaricom, you are his boss.
Okay.
But is that really the position on the ground?
I don't think so.
Yeah, in terms of making decisions, you are the owner. You should be the one who is making decisions for Safaricom as an owner.
Yeah.
But you have delegated that duty to someone else.
Okay.
So when a company is at that maturity stage and it has undergone the separation of ownership and management, then there is conflict of interest. The owners would want to maximize the wealth of that company. But on the other hand, the management wants to maximize their own self-interest, which is against the corporate governance requirement, because all employees should insubordinate their own self-interest
to that of a company.
For instance, if a CEO is being paid based on the profitability of that company at the end of the year, he will make sure that he reduces the expenses so that the profits goes up.
Is up.
Yes.
And then he gets, of course, a big share.
A bonus.
A bonus.
Yes. Yeah. A fat bonus at the end of the day.
Yes.
So if there is an opportunity for a company to start another branch somewhere, probably go regional. Wants to start a branch maybe in Sudan, in Uganda, what that would mean, the company would, instead of reporting high profit at the end of that year, the profitability of that company would be reduced by the cost of starting another branch somewhere else. And the CEO doesn't want that.
Because he'll not get the fat bonus at the end of the year.
At the end of the year. So the CEO might come up with reasons. It's not a good idea to expand at this time. But he's arguing from his own selfish point of view.
Okay.
If owners were asked, they know they better get a lesser amount of money now and get more in future.
That is true.
And that's the entire principle of investing. You sacrifice yourself today so that tomorrow you get more. So the company that is at maturity stage starts to experience those conflict of interest and bureaucracy becomes an issue. When a company is at startup stage, probably it is a company owned by one person. So if he decides to invest more or maybe to add the level of production, he doesn't have to consult anyone. But now when the company is at maturity stage, then for a small decision like buying maybe something like a pen, then it's a decision that has to go from one department to the other. From the procurement department, it goes to the approval department, the finance department, and if it were an opportunity that had presented itself, by the time the purchase is being done,
the opportunity is gone.
The opportunity is gone.
Okay.
So there's a huge challenge. It's a weakness that when companies are at maturity stage, they, instead of keeping their heads high, then they start thinking that now we are
okay where we are.
Exactly.
What do you think should be done to avoid that kind of leadership?
That kind of leadership, it is very hard to avoid it, because actually it's covered under a principle called agency problem.
Okay.
Agency problem, it's a problem that has been there for so many years. But how it is usually been managed is that every company is supposed to have executive directors and non-executive directors.
Okay.
So even a CEO of a company is being checked by another set of directors.
Okay.
Like for instance, the chairman. The chairman is not an executive director. By an executive director, we mean someone who is employed there and is responsible for day-to-day management of that organization. But now we have another set of non-executive directors. Then they just visit the company probably once in a month or once quarterly, and they sit. And if it is in terms of procurement or in terms of approving expansion, acquisitions, it is that board that sits and approves that kind of purchase. Then the good thing, even if the CEO has power, once every year, during the AGM, the other owners, now we refer to them as shareholders, they have the power to fire the CEO. If they feel the CEO is not acting in their best interest.
On behalf of the company.
On behalf of the company.
Okay.
And these other directors, they also rotate or leave office on a rotational basis. For instance, if a company has 3 directors, at least at the end of every year, one director resigns.
Then you bring
another one. So that at any given point, you don't have directors who have overstayed in that company. And overstaying might mean that the company must stagnate. So it's a corporate governance requirement that directors also resign in rotation.
Okay. I get it. So at least there's a solution there.
Yes.
All right. My other question is, now after the maturity stage, we either go to rebirth or the decline stage.
Yes.
What are the threats?
The threats?
Yes.
In terms of decline, is now when the company, because of bureaucracy, it is not able to assess the changes that are happening in the market, in the marketplace. And these changes could be political, these changes could be economical, they could be sociological, they could be technological, they could be environmental, they could be legal.
They are external factors.
These are external factors. So a company that is at that decline stage might be so comfortable saying now we are the king of the jungle, and all of a sudden something happens. For instance, there is this company called Blockbuster. Blockbuster was an American company. It used to hire out movies in form of CDs. Then they were very large. They were big. They had many branches across the US. But then one of its customers was very angry with them. Because what would happen, someone would go to their stores. You want to watch some movies over the weekend. They give you a few CDs. You pay for that. Then they tell you, we have given you these CDs for 3 days. So if you don't bring it by the 4th day, we'll start charging you some penalty for not returning the CDs on time. So there is this client that incurred a penalty of $400. Probably 400 is converting is around maybe 40,000. 40,000 for not returning CDs. So this guy was very angry, and he decided to start a similar company for hiring out CDs for movies without charging for any late return penalty. And that's how Netflix was formed.
Okay.
That's how Netflix was formed.
Yes.
But now this guy, he had to come up with a different business model
yes.
other than the one that Blockbuster was using.
Yes.
So he said he came up with a subscription business model.
Okay.
Whereby,
yes.
instead of paying for a CD every other time you visit Blockbuster's store,
yes.
you would pay a sum of Kenya shillings like 10,000 per month. Then with 10,000,
yes.
you are given like 5 CDs.
Yes.
So you go watch. After you watch, whether you watch within 1 day or 2 days or a week, you take your time. No one will penalize you.
Yes.
And after you are done watching, you bring them back.
Yes.
Then you pick another set.
Others, as long as your subscription is still active.
As long as your subscription is still active.
Okay.
So he was able to offer something that the main player in that market was not offering.
Yes.
We go back to the same thing that we had talked about, an opportunity.
Yes.
So this Netflix guy
yes.
saw an opportunity that existed
yes.
in that market. The customers, there was a customer need that was being underserved. So on Blockbuster realizing that there was a new boy in the block.
Yes.
That's what they say.
A new boy in town.
There was a new boy. There was a new boy in town.
Yes.
They quickly copied that business model by Netflix.
Yeah.
And because they had many branches compared to a startup like Netflix,
yes.
they were easily able to bully Netflix again out of the market.
Okay.
And now Netflix was struggling to survive. Now it's when Netflix again came up with another innovation. You remember what happens at maturity stage,
yes.
companies, because they have acquired a huge market share, there is some of them, they stop investing in research and development. They start being creative, they start being innovative.
Yes.
But now a startup company like Netflix realized now Blockbuster has copied our strategy.
Yeah.
So we need to think more. And think better.
Yes.
So what they did, they now came up with the concept of streaming. They were able to invest heavily on movies. They bought movies from production houses, and they ensured that they could not be sued for piracy and for copyright.
Yes.
And now they continued with their subscription business model.
Yes.
So what you could pay like 10,000 Kenya shillings, and now you did not need to interact with the CDs.
Yeah. You did not have to go to their shop.
You did not go to their shop, to their stores.
Yeah.
From the comfort of your home, you are just given a few passwords, an email.
Yes.
You log into their...
You create an account.
Yes. Then
you start streaming.
Yeah. You can watch 1 million movies if you have the time to do that.
Yes.
Provided your subscription is active.
Yeah.
So by this time, Blockbuster, you know, they were relying so much on the fees they were collecting for late return payment.
Yes.
Now they had done away with it because now Netflix had introduced a different concept. So this time the Blockbuster, one stream of income is out.
Yes.
Now they have realized now they are playing, they are trying to catch up with the Netflix. So they borrowed more money, so that now they can invest in that streaming concept, technology.
Yes.
But by the time they were doing that, Netflix was far away.
A big thing. Okay.
And that's how Blockbuster failed.
Yes.
And today, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
So Blockbuster had gone through startup stage, growth stage. It went to maturity stage. But now when it was in decline stage, it never realized on time.
Yeah.
The threat was too much for it.
Yes.
And what happened?
It died.
It died.
Okay, but Netflix as well, it went through the same stages?
Yes.
But at that final stage, it was reborn.
It went through rebirth. Or maybe that time, you remember, Netflix at that time was a startup. Maybe when they were coming first with that subscription model, the one that they would still sell their movies on CDs. Yeah. Then they went to subscription model. Probably at subscription model, they were still at maturity stage. Okay. They had not arrived, they had not ventured into the rebirth or decline stage.
Yes.
Now today,
yes.
that's where Netflix is.
Yes.
Because now it needs to quickly orchestrate its own rebirth.
Yes.
Or it will fade away. Because the competition that Netflix is facing today,
yes.
from HBO, from the Disney,
yes, yes, yes,
from
yes.
Amazon,
yeah.
because what Netflix does is now it has created a concept of a streaming of movies. But now
they buy the movies.
They buy the movies.
Then they stream.
Then they stream, but they don't produce the movies themselves.
Okay.
They don't own production houses. Now companies that produce movies,
yes,
like HBO, like Disney,
yes,
now they want to start that concept of streaming.
Wow.
And when they start that concept of streaming, they are likely to push away Netflix out of market. And Netflix will be, or they will make those movies more expensive.
Yeah.
So Netflix...
of course, it will lose the market share, the customers.
Yes, yes. So
the other competitors.
Yes. Wow. Who have done something that is called forward integration.
Okay.
Forward integration is when you are a supplier, all of a sudden you decide, no, I'll not be supplying other people.
Yes.
I'll now open my outlet so that I can sell directly to my customers.
Yes.
You are a wholesaler.
Yes.
You are selling to retailers so that retailers can sell to the end consumers.
Okay.
And now you decide, no, I'll not be a wholesaler alone. I also want to be a retailer.
Wow.
So that's what HBO is doing.
Okay.
That is what Amazon is doing. That's what Disney is doing.
Yes.
And when they finalize setting up that system, now Netflix will be in hot soup.
Wow. Okay.
The same situation that Blockbuster was.
Yes. Then that situation right
Yes,
now.
about a decade ago.
Oh, okay.
So Netflix, they are still a bit visionary.
Yes.
They are trying to minimize that kind of threat.
Okay.
So what they have started to do is to create their own content.
Okay.
Like the famous House of Cards.
Yes.
It was produced by Netflix.
Okay.
It has produced a few others.
Yes.
But it cannot be able to do production that will match that for Disney, that for Amazon, that for HBO.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, because if it tries to, actually right now, Netflix, in terms of borrowing, it is heavily indebted, heavily levered.
Yes.
Because for you to finance the production of movies, it is quite costly.
Yes.
So now Netflix is that stage where it either comes with an innovative way of navigating around this challenge, or it will slowly go down and fade away.
We just hope that it will be able to pull through.
Yes. Are you a shareholder of Netflix?
I am not.
Yes.
But I would want it to pull through.
Yes.
Not to die, to be reborn.
I don't know how I should react to that.
Yes.
Because when you see a lion eating a gazelle, you wouldn't say it is doing a wrong thing. Because
and I know that the next thing is me.
No. You know it has to eat something to survive.
Yes.
And that's how nature operates.
Yeah. So in short, you're telling business people to always be on the lookout, to always be alert, because there will always be those emerging issues.
Exactly.
Technology is changing. Times are changing. So we should be on the lookout.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine. My final question is, do you think it is important for a business person to know the stage their business is in?
Yes, it is very important. It is very important because when you are aware which stage of the growth process you are at, you will know what strategy to implement.
Okay.
If you are at a startup stage, you know that basically when you need to market aggressively your products and services, because you want to create brand awareness and brand visibility. When you are at growth stage, that's when you need to attract investors. That's when you need to expand. That's when you need to ensure that your quality keeps becoming better.
Okay.
The customer experience is high. And probably when you are at the maturity stage,
yes,
now there, you might be, you need to be aware about the agency problem.
Yes, yes.
When you do now the separation of ownership and management.
Yeah.
And again, when the company starts to decline,
yeah,
you need to continue investing heavily on research and development, again, marketing. And when it is at decline,
yeah,
when it is heading to decline,
yes,
and more so before it goes to decline, it is at a maturity stage.
yes,
If you want to exit,
yes,
that's the right time to exit.
okay.
That's now when
Before
you can.
it is completely dead.
Yes,
with
yes,
nothing.
yes, 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 yes. Because before the value of that company continues to erode
Decline, yeah.
and to decline, that's when you can maybe form a merger.
Yes,
That's
yes.
when you can form a merger, like we saw the merger between NIC Bank and CBA Bank.
Yes.
They merged.
Yeah, to
So,
NCBA.
To NCBA.
Yes.
And that's now what we are referring as a rebirth.
Okay.
Because now you come out stronger,
Yeah.
you come out with
Better resources.
better resources,
Yeah.
a wider customer base,
Yes.
and or you can choose to be acquired at that stage.
Yes.
So that when you are still at your prime,
To be acquired is to be bought by another company.
to be acquired is to be bought by another company.
Okay.
Because and also you can choose
Yes.
to even go public.
Yeah.
And going public is now when you float shares through an IPO.
Yes.
And now the company is owned by different people, depending on the number of shares that someone has paid and has subscribed for and paid for.
Okay.
So it is very important for someone
to know
which stage his company is at, so that you make the right decision. Yeah. Just like even me and you, it is good, and we are usually advised to go to the hospital often for just checkup. You go there, you are screened. If it is women, I think they usually advertise for cervix cancer.
Yes, yes.
There's another term they used for women to go do the screening.
Smear.
Yes, pap smear.
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason they do that is because they want to create awareness, people to be aware of their bodies. And the moment you are aware, for instance, if someone goes to the hospital, maybe let's mention Aga Khan Hospital, and through a normal pap smear checkup, and then maybe cancer is detected at that formative stage, that early stages, that cancer is curable.
It is true.
And it would have been a different thing if that person did not go for that normal checkup, and the cancer would have continued to escalate to even just like the way we are saying about the company, from that starting stage to growth stage. Now by the time now it is approaching maturity stage, that cancer is incurable.
Yes, yes.
So it is good even for a company to know and to keep assessing what changes are happening around it, be they political, be they economical, be they sociological, change in social trends, be they technological, environmental, or legal.
And they normally say that prevention is better than
cure. You said it.
All right. Thank you so much, Daktari. Our viewers, we hope that you have learned something. Here in Certified Business Solutions, we normally say, when you learn better, you do better. It is a hope that you will do better. Thank you.
Sandy.